My beautiful debimmer relief net family. Have you ever felt like a spinning top, whirling so fast that everything blurs into one big smear of activity? I know I have. There are days when I wake up, and before my feet even touch the floor, my mind is already racing through a long list of tasks. Emails to answer, appointments to keep, chores to finish. It's a constant hum in the background of my life, a feeling of being perpetually busy. This state of constant motion can make it hard to hear the quieter, more important whispers of our own hearts. It can feel like we are running a race without knowing where the finish line is, or even why we started running in the first place. This sense of being overwhelmed is a common feeling in our modern world. We are connected all the time through our phones and computers. News, messages, and notifications pop up at every moment. It's easy to believe that being productive means doing more, faster. We add another task to our list, say yes to another request, and push ourselves a little harder. But this relentless pace often leaves us feeling drained rather than accomplished. We might find ourselves irritable with the people we love or too tired to enjoy the simple pleasures that life offers. This is the great paradox of being too busy. In our rush to do everything, we sometimes end up feeling like we are doing nothing that truly matters. I remember one particular Tuesday, a day that felt especially gray and endless. I was juggling work deadlines, a school project for my child, and a promise to call a friend. By the end of the day, I had managed to do a little bit of everything, but I felt a profound sense of emptiness. I had checked off boxes on my to-do list, but I hadn't truly connected with anyone or anything. I hadn't savored my lunch, I had barely listened during my phone call, and my work felt rushed. It was a wake-up call. I realized that my life had become a series of transactions instead of a collection of meaningful experiences. That evening, I decided to take a small step. Instead of turning on the television or scrolling through my phone, I just sat by the window and watched the sky change color as the sun went down. It was a simple act of stillness, but it felt revolutionary. In those quiet moments, I understood that I didn't need a dramatic life overhaul. What I needed was to find a better rhythm, a more intentional balance between the must-dos and the want-to-dos. It was the beginning of my journey to rediscover the joy and purpose that get lost in the noise of a busy life, a journey toward a more balanced and passionate existence. Finding balance often begins with a conscious decision to slow down, especially in the areas of our lives that silently support everything else we do. Think about your health. It's the foundation upon which your entire life is built. When we are constantly rushing, we might grab unhealthy food, skip exercise, or ignore the need for rest. We tell ourselves we don't have time, but what if we reframed it? What if we saw taking a 20-minute walk not as a luxury, but as a crucial investment in our energy for the rest of the day? Making time for healthy meals or ensuring we get enough sleep isn't about adding more to our list. It's about making sure we have the strength to handle the list at all. Our relationships with family and friends are another vital area that thrives on a slower pace. True connection cannot be rushed. It happens in the shared stories, the moments of listening without distraction, and the simple act of being present. When we are always busy, our interactions can become superficial. We ask, "How are you?" while already thinking about our next task. To cultivate balance, we can create small pockets of protected time. Maybe it's a family dinner with no phones allowed at the table. Perhaps it's a dedicated weekly call with a loved one where you give them your full, undivided attention. These rituals of connection are like watering a plant. They require consistency and care to flourish. Then there is the essential, yet often neglected, pillar of rest. Our society often celebrates sleepless nights and packed schedules as signs of ambition. However, rest is not the opposite of productivity. It is a vital component of it. A mind that is tired cannot think clearly, be creative, or solve problems effectively. A body that is exhausted is more prone to illness. Slowing down means giving yourself permission to do nothing at all. It could be reading a book for pleasure, listening to music, or simply sitting in quiet contemplation. This isn't laziness. It is a strategic and compassionate act of self-preservation that recharges our batteries for the challenges ahead. Achieving this slowness doesn't require a radical change overnight. It's about making small, deliberate choices every day. It's choosing to leave work on time one day a week. It's deciding to put your phone in another room for an hour each evening. It's learning to say no to things that don't align with your priorities so you can say yes to your well-being. By gently applying the brakes in these key areas, we create the space needed for a more sustainable and fulfilling life. We stop just surviving our days and start truly living them with intention and a newfound sense of peace. Once we create a little more space in our lives by slowing down, we are faced with a wonderful question. Where should we invest our newfound time and energy? This is where passion comes in. Passion is not just for artists or famous innovators, it's for everyone. It's that spark that makes you feel alive, engaged, and utterly absorbed. One of the most accessible places to find this spark is in our hobbies. A hobby is something you do just for the love of it, with no pressure to be perfect or to turn it into a career. It could be gardening, painting, playing a musical instrument, or learning a new language. These activities are a powerful antidote to burnout. Dedicating time to a hobby is like feeding your soul. When you are deeply engaged in something you love, time seems to fly by, and your worries fade into the background. To go deeper with a passion like this, start small. If you're interested in photography, don't feel you need the most expensive camera. Start with your phone and challenge yourself to take one interesting photo every day. If you want to learn to cook, begin with one new recipe a week. The key is to show up for your passion consistently. Join a local club, watch online tutorials, or read books about your chosen interest. The more you learn and practice, the more confident and passionate you will become. Another incredibly rewarding place to direct your passion is toward helping others. This doesn't have to be a grand gesture. It can be found in small acts of kindness and service within your own community. Perhaps you can volunteer at a local animal shelter, help an elderly neighbor with their groceries, or mentor a younger person in your field of work. When we use our energy to make a positive impact on someone else's life, we receive a profound sense of purpose in return. It connects us to something larger than ourselves and reminds us of our shared humanity. This kind of passion creates a beautiful ripple effect of positivity. Finally, we can pour our passion into our work or our personal growth. Even if your job isn't your ultimate dream, you can find aspects of it to be passionate about. Maybe you can focus on becoming a better leader, mastering a new skill, or finding more efficient ways to solve problems. Passion can be about the pursuit of excellence and learning. Or you can direct that energy toward personal development, whether it's through reading books that expand your mind, taking online courses, or practicing mindfulness. By intentionally choosing where to invest our energy, we transform our lives from a series of obligations into a joyful adventure of discovery and contribution. The journey to a more balanced and passionate life is not a destination you arrive at one day. It is a continuous and beautiful dance. It is not about throwing away your old life and starting a completely new one. Instead, it is about making small, intentional shifts in your daily rhythm. Think of it like tuning a musical instrument. You don't yank the strings violently. You make tiny, careful adjustments until each note rings clear and true. In the same way, you can adjust your daily habits to create a life that feels more harmonious. It all begins with the courage to pause and ask yourself, what is one small thing I can do today to feel more balanced? The answer might be surprisingly simple. Maybe it's taking 5 deep breaths before you start your workday. Perhaps it's leaving your phone behind when you take a walk. It could be sending a text to a friend just to say you're thinking of them. These actions might seem insignificant on their own, but they are the building blocks of a happier life. Each small positive choice is a vote for the person you want to be. Over time, these votes add up, creating powerful momentum. This is how lasting change happens, not through a single grand resolution, but through a symphony of small, consistent efforts. Embracing this path also means being kind to yourself. There will be days when you feel out of balance again. There will be times when your passion wanes and you feel uninspired. That is perfectly normal. It is part of being human. The goal is not perfection. The goal is awareness. When you notice you are feeling overwhelmed or disconnected, you now have the tools to gently guide yourself back. You can recognize the signs and choose to take a step back, to rest, to reconnect with a hobby, or to perform a small act of kindness. This resilience is the true secret to long-term well-being. So as you move forward from this day, I encourage you to look at your life with fresh eyes. See it not as a list of problems to be solved, but as a beautiful masterpiece waiting to be composed. You are the conductor of your own symphony. You have the power to decide when to slow the tempo and when to let the music soar with passion. Start today. Make one small change, then make another tomorrow. With each gentle adjustment, you will find yourself living a life that is not only more successful, but also more joyful, more connected, and more deeply and wonderfully you.